And if you're well off, then I'm happy some for you. But I'd rather not celebrate my defeat and humiliation here with you. So, we're going to get into the execution of all things, meaning not actually executing all things, which, now that I think about it, it almost has a double meaning, right? Like, you could look at execution as actual, like, physical, like, annihilation of something, or you could look at it as, like, we're going to execute this order, or we're going to execute this conversation, or we're going to execute this monologue in which I speak into my phone at nobody. So basically, what's happening is, as usual, Rilo Kiley's they're being artistic, they're being creative, and the reason I have the lyric behind me that I do is because, if you haven't noticed already, I like to distract you. It's fun. It's a little game I play. Okay, secret's out. Yes, I like to distract. It's because I'll quote a different lyric, which has nothing to do with what I wrote behind me. But we'll get into that. You know, it's a great song, actually. It's the follow-up to The Execution of All Things, off the album, The Execution of All Things. And this is probably, I mean, as far as rock albums or indie rock albums are concerned, this is like easily in my top, if I ever did a top 20 albums, yeah, like personal favorites, it's for sure in my top 20 favorites. So that's why I wanted to talk about it. But what's special about The Execution of All Things? Well, let's start with the lyrics themselves, since we're already on that subject. I'm going to quote the, second or third verse. Yeah, so, okay, leave behind buildings the city planners got mapped out. Bring with you history and make your hard-earned feast. Then we'll go to Omaha to work and exploit the booming music scene. So good. Then, all right, we have to talk about the music itself. It's pretty straightforward, rhythmic melody going on. The verses, it's in the key of E, and it goes from like E to but then you get to the bridge, which is I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know the exact progression, but it starts off, goes to B minor. So that just kind of, it throws you a curveball. And then, of course, we have a final verse, and then it's into the execution of all things, into the chorus. Also in a minor chord. So we've shifted. So that is a classic move. You know, when you want to add drama, this is just from like a songwriter's point of view. If you're contrasting a verse and chorus, you can have the verse be very bright, be very neutral. Let's say in this case, in the execution of all things, it's like it's pushing forward, but it's not like, you know, emoting, I should say, I guess, like some emotion of like sadness or real anger or aggression. It's just like, you know, we're in E, baby, we're in E, like, let's move. Then you get to a minor chord, and it's like, okay, now things have actually shifted. We've gone from being like not as threatening to, yo, we're calling for the execution of everything, so best be prepared, right? Like, that shifts things. So anytime you want to do that in a song, to shift the drama and to change things up in the narrative of the song, that's one way. You go from major to minor, from minor to major, or what have you. That's a nice contrast. And the fact that they have this, like, they have that B minor bridge which first of all is atypical, I think, to that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know enough indie music or indie rock music, but it's kind of unique, I would say, because a lot of Rilo Kiley's song structures are fairly simple and straightforward. However, still employing a lot of good, more complex chord progressions and use of more complex chords. But overall, like I'd say, like at least 50% of their songs have that like basic type of structure going on. Then you throw in this B minor bridge of the execution of all things. It's definitely it's something I first noticed when I like the very first time I heard the song a long time ago, but I wasn't into my music education as much as I have been now, and so it didn't really like stand out, I suppose, in the way that it would now. So that's pretty much it. And then what's so cool is like with the ending of the song, you have the stringed arrangement. This like the very last 5 seconds, it goes from a louder, more having built up all this energy, like this big build up in a minor chord, to then da, 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 and it's just like a very almost satirical way to end it. This is why I think, regardless of how many percentage, whatever, 50%, who cares, of their songs have a basic structure, this shakes things up. And they were always progressive songwriters, in my view. And this song came out like over 20 years ago. It's pretty remarkable. So that's going to be it for the execution of all things. You will have to stay tuned until the next time when we do talk about the lyric written behind me. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.